Welcome to There's No Place Like Summer Camp podcast. I'm Andrew Waterhouse, and in this week's episode we'll be going over some of the reasons why you don't want to be fired from summer camp. So come on into our tent and I'll spill the beans. Hi everyone and welcome to our 5th episode. It's been a week since the last YouTube channel and it's fast approaching Christmas. So I hope you're all in the holiday spirit. I am. I'm very excited. So I've got a couple of announcements or bits of news just before we begin this episode. So I'm actually looking at creating a YouTube channel. This might actually be on YouTube at some point and I don't know how I'm going to do it. So I'm interested to hear whether you want me to record this with my face, whether you want me to just do audio and a little backdrop, because I know plenty of you out there who are avid, keen campers or staff members or anything to do with summer camp. You just want to listen to summer camp stuff. So I thought, what better place than YouTube? There's a whole market that I'm missing out on. So I might be uploading these to YouTube at some point. Just a heads up, they might be a little bit delayed between the podcasts because I have got some catching up to do. There's 5 episodes already, but I think from now on I might be looking at uploading it to YouTube, so stay tuned for that. Be sure to also follow me on Twitter at AndrewW09. The Andrew is spelt AndrooW09. It's really bad to say on the mic, but I'm not going to change it. I'm going to leave it as it is. So I might start a new YouTube channel all about summer camp and on the podcast and all that good stuff. So if you are new to this and you don't know what There's No Place Like Summer Camp podcast is all about. So it's 101 tips, tricks and funny stories all about summer camp. And in this week's episode, we'll be going over the reasons why you don't want to be fired from summer camp. Also, we've got a new sponsor for this YouTube channel as well, or podcast even, shall I say. So there'll be an ad for that coming up. I know you're all excited for the ads. Okay. Right, so the number one reason why you don't want to be fired from summer camp. So when I first applied to Camp America, one of the scariest things that was said to me was by them at an orientation day. They actually gave us a warning that a lot of you in this room will be fired from camp. It happens every year. Every camp has a couple of firings. And to be honest, it's one of the worst things that could happen to you. And these reasons are going to explain why. So starting off with number one, the cost of the visa. So you've paid all that money to go to camp. You've paid for the visa. It's called a J2 visa. Most of the time it's a J2. So you paid all that cost and straight away it's been cut off. So all that money you've put into getting to Camp America is being thrown out the window because you're just having to go straight home. So if you're unfamiliar, if you do get fired from camp, they pretty much make you disappear from camp straight away, just like that, and you're taken to the airport and you have to catch the next flight. So the cost is going to be extortionate. And on top of that, you have your wages as well. So all of the wages that you've earned by working at summer camp are thrown straight out the window as well. You're not paid for any of the time that you've given to camp, no matter how close the end date it is. So you want to make sure you finish camp before you get up to any shenanigans. So number two, the rumours. And this goes without saying. Every single firing I have witnessed at camp, there's been so many rumours afterwards because, especially at my camp that I went to, the leadership team don't want to gloss, they want to gloss over all of the firings. They don't want to delve into the juicy details of what happened and why they've gone. So when you're at camp and you're as a staff member there, there's plenty of rumours going around as to why they've been fired, what happened, and you get conflicting stories. So no one really knows the full truth. And these rumours that circulate around will go between your friends. So when you've been fired, you won't really be able to get like, oh, this is what happened, all that good stuff, and let the truth out there because you're cut off from camp and so are your friends. They're cut off from the internet, so you won't really be able to contact them. So there's going to be plenty of rumours about you if you do get fired. Number three, obviously, you're going to miss the rest of camp. And you can only appreciate how good summer camp is when you're there. When you initially set foot into summer camp, for a lot of people it can be daunting, and especially when it's a culture shock. Maybe it's a Jewish camp or disability camp, something that you're not entirely used to. And a lot of people are like, oh, why did I apply for this? I hate it. But once you get threatened with being fired because maybe, I don't know, you've been caught shagging someone around the back. I don't mean around the arse. I don't mean that. I don't mean around the arse. Around the back of camp somewhere. Yeah, you don't want to get fired because you're going to miss the rest of camp, and it's like once in a lifetime experience. And once you get fired, it's going to be so hard for you to get repicked. It's going to be so hard for you to get repicked for any other camp, let alone the one you've been fired from. So you're going to miss a lot of good times. You're going to miss a lot of the stories as well. And camp is just so good. Even though it can be tiring sometimes, there's plenty of fun and stories to be had. And number 4, this ties in with missing the rest of camp. You actually miss the rest of your travels as well. So as I mentioned earlier, you have to get the next flight out of America because your J2 visa has been cut off. It's illegal for you to stay there because you're not working there anymore. So it's been cut off, and they escort you to camp to get the next plane. No matter how much it costs, you have to pay it. And that ties in with missing the rest of traveling as well. So if you've made any plans for maybe a Camp America trek or anything like that, a camp leaders organised thing, or even if you just want to travel by yourself afterwards, you can't because your J2 visa has been revoked and you miss all of the travelling. So all of that hard work of working at summer camp is kind of down the drain. You're not rewarded with the travelling afterwards. So this is the point in the podcast where I do a quick little plug. Normally it would be for my book, but for this episode, I'm going to plug Kentucky. So if you're unaware, Kentucky offer plenty of solo travelling opportunities and trips for 18 to 30-year-olds. It's really cool. I've actually been on one myself. I did a tour of Europe, but they do plenty of other countries and continents as well. So there's plenty of Asia trips, America trips, Australia, if you want to go New Zealand for a gap year, something like that. There's plenty of cool things that Kentucky offer. And I would be able to offer you up to 30% off if you go through my link andrewwaterhouse.com/offer. And if you are watching this on YouTube, which hopefully it will be up now, you can actually click on the link down in the description. So you can get up to 30% off of these really cool 18 to 30-year-old trips. And you get some of the best stories. Like if you don't want to do Camp America, this is the next best thing because they specifically do trips for young people, and there's plenty of different things out there. They do like high energy ones, which is like what one I did, where you whisk around different countries and different places as quick as you can, checking off the big landmarks in these countries. Or you can go something a bit more relaxed, or maybe you want to do something a bit more adventurous outside, or maybe, I don't know, try something you've never done before. But Kentucky do plenty of trips, so if you're interested, once again, that link is andrewwaterhouse.com/offer. So, moving on with the rest of the reasons why you don't want to be fired from summer camp. Number 5 is your friends at camp will be so lost without you. Out of the blue, you have been plucked out of the summer camp bubble and you're no longer there. So all of those connections, all those really cool friends that you used to make 24/7 with these guys have suddenly disappeared. And your friends will be wandering around like, oh my god, I can't believe he's been fired. And that's all it's going to be. You're going to be the talk of the camp between your friends, particularly for the rest of camp, because they're going to be missing you. So it's really heartbreaking when you've got to pack your bags just like that without even saying goodbyes. There's no reasoning. If you get fired from camp, you're literally shoved out the door ASAP. And number 6, your friends at home will be shocked. If you get fired from camp, they're going to be so stunned that you're back because you've had all these talks and the bravado of, oh yeah, I'm going to Camp America, and here you are 2 weeks later back at home. They're going to be shocked. Yeah, sure, it will be funny for a couple of weeks, but at the end of the day, it's you that's missing out. And this really ties in with number 7, which is one of the biggest points actually. You look like a complete mug. If you get fired from camp, all of these rumours, all of these stories, all of this chance to have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to travel America, make some really insane friends, is thrown out the window. All the talk of, oh yeah, I'm going to do 3 months in America, is totally gone. And it's not great, especially for some of the reasons why you will get fired from camp. Typical things can be you come back from a night out drunk, or there's all sorts. It can delve into really weird and wonderful places, but you really don't want to get fired from camp. And moving on to the last point, the cost of the flight. I have touched upon this earlier in the podcast a little bit, but the cost is going to be extortionate. And I'd like to reiterate this point with number 8. So not only is the cost of the visa thrown out the window, and all your application fees is kept by Camp America as well. You don't get any sort of refunds on those, but the cost of the flight as well. So when you do get fired from camp, typically, at my camp anyway, the security guards will take you all the way to the nearest airport and wait with you until you catch the next flight home. And that flight can be expensive. I have had to buy a flight on the day before. That's a different story, and that is related to a Kentucky trip I had. Anyway, that's for a different day. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. This was There's No Place Like Summer Camp podcast. If you did enjoy it, maybe give me a subscribe, whether that be on podcasts or on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed. If you do have any recommendations, feel free to tweet me at AndrewW09. And also, if you did enjoy this episode, why not check out my book? My book is coming out hopefully in the next year. It's called There's No Place Like Summer Camp. And if you're totally new to summer camp and you're fretting and worrying about everything to do with summer camp, I have the book for you. This is my first summer camp diary that I kept on my first year of summer camp. So arriving at summer camp in a place full of strangers, all the friends I've made, all the stories I made, all the travels afterwards, and then surprising my family when I came back home. It's a truly remarkable book. I've put a lot of work into it, but it's not available right now because I'm still working on it. So if you really are interested, there's a shop on my website called shop.andrewwaterhouse.com. That will also be in the description as well if you're on YouTube. But anyway, guys, that's wrapped it up for this episode. In next week's episode, we'll be going over some of the best summer camp gifts that you can find out there. So that should be a really interesting episode. And once again, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in a week's time.